What's up everybody, this is Nastik, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can get started with mixing your beats. So I'll just go over the basics in this video. There's going to be nothing crazy. This is just going to be a beginner's video for that. So we'll just go over a few tips to start mixing your beats. So I post these videos very frequently, so I would appreciate if you can just give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. And I have uploaded few other music production videos. I will just leave a link for the playlist down in the description. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So this is the beat, and this is how it's sound when it's unmixed. Alright, so this is how the beat sounds, and I just did a little bit of processing on the 808, so I'll just close it for the moment, and this is how the 808 sounds without any processing. So I just wanted it to be a little grittier than it was. So alright, so I've just removed the processing for now. So let's just get into it on how I would start when I'm mixing the beat. So the first thing that I would do is I will make sure that the limiter is turned off. So I have turned off the limiter. There are no effects on any of these channels. So this is the first thing that I would make sure, and I would just go to the busiest section of the track. So for that it's going to be this section. So on this section I have used pretty much everything that I made for the beat. So I'll just right click and I'll just highlight this section so that it loops, and then I will just, first thing that I would do is just leveling. So I will not touch EQ or any compression or anything else. I'll just make sure that the levels are right for all the elements. So before we start leveling each and every individual track, so I'll just highlight everything and I will just turn down so that the overall volume on your master channel is minus 6 dB. Next thing that I will do is I will just start leveling each and every individual track on this. So let's just go ahead and do that. So the basic leveling is done. The next thing that we would do is stereo separation for individual elements. So what I basically mean by that is how wide or how narrow a sound is going to be on your track. So let's just listen to this piano. So I'll just solo it. So this is like the stereo separation knob in FL Studio. If you turn it all the way to the right, that means that it is like completely mono. that the sound will just come from the middle of your speakers, and if it's like completely to the left hand side, that means that the sound is going to widen up. So you're going to hear it like on the left and right hand side more than the middle. So let's just listen to this piano. So on the middle it sounds something like this. Now I will just make it mono and just listen to the difference. So you could probably tell the difference that as I was turning the knob, the sound was like getting narrower and narrower. And now let's just move it to the opposite side and listen to the difference then. So this is pretty much basically what stereo separation is. So how do we use it when we are mixing our tracks? So things are going to sound better when they're in mono and they're wider, but you cannot like make every element on your track stereo, because it's going to just mess up the entire mix and you're not going to be mono compatible. So once we have done like our basing leveling, I will go ahead and I will just start messing around with these knobs. So I'll just listen to the entire beat and I will just mess around with these. Alright, so that was just a basic stereo separation. I didn't really do anything with this piano, but I did touch this up and this little ambient sound. Probably if you're new to this, you might be wondering what the fuck I did with these drums. Like I just turned everything to the mono side. So basically all your drums, they need to be all mono until you're trying to do something crazy with it. So now the stereo separation is also done. The next thing that we can do before we jump into all those crazy effects that you're gonna add later on, we can mess around with the panning. So how I go about panning is that the main instrument that I have on my track, that would be stereo, and I'll just not do any kind of panning on that. So in this case, this is the piano. All the other elements that I have used, all those will be panned. So the main instrument will be like in the middle but wide, but all the other instruments, they will be in mono. Let's just talk about the instruments first. And every instrument that like goes on top of this, I will pan it a little bit to the left or the right, or I will just automate the panning so that sometimes it's on your left ear, sometimes it's on your right ear. Let's just take for example this reverse piano. So for this, what I'll do is either I can use like PanMan, it's a plugin, or we can just automate this little piano, this little reverse piano section. And I'll just create an automation clip here, and I'll just like automate this panning so that it just moves around from left and right, something like that. So this is how you can pan certain stuff. Then let's just come to these up. So I've already kept it in stereo, so we don't really need to pan this a lot, but I'll still just pan it a little bit to the left. And then we have this ambience kind of sound, and I just want to pan it to the to hard left and right. So I'll just make another automation clip. Alright, that's enough, and now let's just jump into the drums. So make sure you're not panning kick and your 808, and your snare as well, like the main snare or clap, whatever you're using. These things should always be in the middle so that they punch every time. You don't want your kick to be coming from your left ear and there is nothing on your right ear. It's just gonna sound weird, it's not gonna be punchy enough, and it's just forget about it. So for the most part, what I do when I'm like trying to pan my drums is I'll leave these as it is, and I'll pan my hi-hat. So just notice that once I pan it to either side, it sounds a little bit louder. So another benefit of panning is that when you pan things to the left or the right hand side, it gets its own room, so it sounds a little bit louder. So you can just turn down these knobs a little, so this is going to come in handy when you're trying to make your beats louder. And now I'll just pan these to the left and right, the percussions that I have used. Alright, so you can just listen to it, how good it sounds already. So we haven't even touched any EQ or any compression or anything crazy like that, and it already sounds pretty good than before. So these were like the basic 3 steps if you want to get started with leveling your beats. So there is a lot more to beat mixing than just these 3 steps. So if you want me to make another video just to go over a little bit more on what I do when I'm mixing my beats, so you can just leave a comment down below, and if I get enough response, I will make another video on that. So that was all for the video. I really hope you like it, and I will see you guys on the next video.